everyone, Krista Moser here. Today I get to show you a new pattern that I've been really excited about and I've kind of been holding as a secret. This is Biggy the Bee. It's just a big bee surrounded by hexagon blocks in black and white, very graphic prints, perfect for a baby. And I haven't done a video using the large ruler in a while, so I thought I would show you how to use this large ruler, the 60-degree diamond ruler from Creative Grids, to get all the cuts for the bee and the surrounding hexagon blocks. We'll talk about some fabric choices and a few other things. I used ombre fabric for my bee, and if you notice, kind of gives it some life. It really shows in the piecing, the different shades of yellow kind of give the bee just some lifelikeness instead of just flat. Now, of course, you can do whatever fabric you like, but you can see here my fabric shades from dark to light in the middle and back to dark. I've sewn some strip sets, so I will show you all the cuts needed here from those. We're going to use the triangle side of the ruler, and I'm just lining it up with the 8.5-inch line on one end and the white dashed line on the other. And I'm going to go ahead and cut on both sides. And I always just use these little dog ears as a matchup point when I can. So here we cut here and here. I'm going to turn the ruler around and get one more cut. Black strip along the edge now, and the dog ears, and I need one more cut, and this is just a triangle cut. The 4.5-inch line along the edge and the little black tip for the pointer on my bee. Those triangle cuts actually cut the reverse of that, where the black is at the outside edge, to do the head pieces. And you would cut those from the rest of the strip. That cut just looks like this, where I'm going to line up the 4.5-inch line along the black edge and then get my triangles that way. I've actually cut some of those already, so we won't waste time there. I'll set these aside, and those, I'm going to do some wings. Everything is pretty much cut from strips, and I've got 4 layers of fabric here, so 2 different grays. And the reason I did 2 different grays, just 2 different light grays, because it kind of gives it a pinwheel look, you know. There again, just messing with fabric and the weave so that your bee has somewhat of a whimsical, lifelike look to it. Okay, so here we go. The 4.5-inch line and the flat tip again. Like I said, I'm cutting through quite a few layers here. Turn it around, same cut, and then we'll get one more. Just like this. Okay, we'll set those aside. Now for the background cuts. I don't know if I've showed you guys some of these more unusual cuts maybe. Here we're going to do a trapezoid and a parallelogram. Here we need, again, an 8.5, just like the bee bodies. We'll do that one. Same size as the bee bodies. Now I'm going to turn the ruler the long way, just like this. Run it along the edge of my strip. And those flat tips. Now for one last piece. I'm going to open this up. Normally, I would press that out. It just makes for cutting accuracy a lot easier if you press your pieces out, but here we have it. Okay. All right, so like I said, I had already cut my head pieces, and I cut the little antenna pieces too. They're 4.5-inch triangles, the same shapes as what I just showed you. So I'm going to try a layout here, and I might be moving this around on the board so that you can see the whole thing, but how simple it is. So here we have the main part of the bee, and get some head pieces. Just going to need some of those up here. I'll scoot this down. Like I said, as you cut across that strip, you're going to end up with different shades of yellow. And so it really adds some dimension to your little bee. Okay, now the wings, I'm alternating my gray with the two different shades. Like that. One more of these guys. Now we're going to go over here. Same thing. This thing is so fun. And the pieces are pretty good size, so you can see it goes together really quick. Okay. So from here, everything's going to go in rows. So you would sew 3 of your wing pieces, the upper body, and then the other 3 wing pieces. Then the 2 bottom pieces for the bottom of the bee body. You sew those together. And then they get a background piece sewn to each side, here and here. So that becomes a unit. I'm going to scoot this down so I can show you the rest of it. The upper head, or the upper wing units, and the lower head. Those go together in a row. And then we've got the upper head. This is the part that uses the trapezoids. So that goes here and here. I think I'm going to give myself some more room. Scoot all this down. Just like this. So here we have the upper 3 pieces for the head. Now I have my antenna pieces, just like that. And that one last triangle goes there. So the head unit goes together like this. So these 3 together, then the triangle gets sewn on. Then we're going to do these 2 together as units, and then they get sewn on, just like that. And you have the lower with the wing units in a row, sewn on. The upper body, the wing units in a row, and then of course the lower body. So really, really simple. And then all the pieces in the background are just hexagon pieces. Now, those dimensions are cut differently than they are in the honeycomb hexagon pattern, but the construction of it is really similar. So to do these, if you've seen my video on the honeycomb hexagon, you'll see how simple that is. The dimensions are different, and so of course they're in the pattern. Here is the Biggy the Bee pattern for the baby quilt. And what I did when I was doing this, I didn't really know how big I wanted to make it, so I ended up doing a lot of extra blocks. So what I want to show you is what else I did with those. Here is another, more like a lap size quilt, where I used all of my extra hexagon blocks from this quilt, and then I used the bee from the Bumblebee Blossoms quilt. So the 2 are the same size. They both finish out to be the same size hexagon, so you can interchange them. As a matter of fact, the latest one, the Ladybug block, would also fit here. So if you did these background blocks with this scale, it could be interchanged with those 2 blocks to make a really darling lap quilt, or if you have extra pieces, like I did. One thing that I thought I would talk about, fabric choices. A lot of people don't like this step, so I thought we would kind of go over some of this, because here we have lots of graphic prints. I love stripes, I love plaids, I like black and white, and I like gray, and you can kind of mix all of those together, putting plaids and stripes together in a block. I think I've done that here, plaids and stripes, with just a black strip to separate them. Gray that reads pretty dark in a shade. Then we've got some black and white combinations, different scale of stripes. I like to use different sizes of stripes. So here I just thought I'd show you some pair ups. Large stripes, skinnier stripes. We've got some plaids here. Here's a really large stripe and a plaid. Some grays, these are what I used for the wings, the light gray units. And combining something like that is a really some people might consider it a faux pas, but it's really a fun effect what it does when you do something with a different scale. Maybe these two stripes even go together. Another thing I like to do is combine warm whites or kind of eggshell whites with true whites, because I think it really actually adds some dimension to the quilts. So while a lot of people avoid that and try and get really matchy-matchy with the shade or pure white or true white, I think they all play well together, and I actually think they kind of turn into a nice warm mixture if you put them in there together. Okay, so something I haven't done anything with in the past is kits for my quilts. I get asked a lot about them if they are available, and I've never really done anything like that. So this will be the first time. If you like what you see here and you want a kit for this quilt, we're going to do a list. We're working with a couple options for kits. And so if you want to email me at info@kristamoser.com, we'll put you on the list for a kit, or at least for the information for them. In a couple of weeks, we'll have the details worked out, and we'd be happy to send you something. Okay, thanks for watching.